past year, I've been working through a Bible in a Year guide. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of it I have already forgotten about. But what's really stuck out to me has been the times where God has invited me to re-explore scripture that he's shown to me before. And through this, he has revealed himself to me more and more through it. And I think this has been especially true of Zechariah chapter 4. So for a bit of context for this, at this point in the Old Testament, the Israelites have returned from their exile in Babylon, and they're now rebuilding the temple, which was previously destroyed. And this temple is important because it's where God's presence dwelt. And through the prophet of Zechariah, God is sending this encouragement to those who are rebuilding the temple. And it's chapter 4, verse 10. Who dares despise the day of small things? Since the 7 eyes of the Lord that range throughout the earth will rejoice when they see the chosen capstone in the hand of Zerubbabel. And it tells us in Ezra chapter 5 that this temple that they're rebuilding is 60 cubits high and wide. And so for us, that's probably about 27 meters. And so putting myself in their shoes, they're starting from ground zero here. They have no machinery and they are going on pure manpower here. So the effort to rebuild this temple would have been absolutely immense. And I think I can imagine where there have been days where it felt like little progress was being made, or even where days that the progress was being made backwards even. But God is making such a secure promise here that there will be rejoicing. But for them to see this rejoicing, there had to be a continual effort. They would have had to make the choice each day to wake up, gather what they needed to work, and step out and go and rebuild the temple. For us reading this scripture, we know that it took them maybe about 20 years to rebuild. But for them, in that moment, they would not know maybe when the temple would have been fully complete. All they would have known is that they had to keep going until it was finished. And this has been a real challenge for how I view my day-to-day faith. It's encouraged me to ask that question of, am I making that continual effort with God? And specifically, am I choosing the moment I wake up to build God's kingdom instead of building my own kingdom? And my own kingdom often can look like making sure I get a to-do list done, making sure I feel that satisfaction at the end of the day that I've completed all my tasks. But actually, am I building God's kingdom in a day? And God gave me such an encouragement through this that there is still delight in the small days. There is no need to despise them. When we linger in his presence, preparing our hearts with him in that morning, we become more aware of those opportunities that he gives us to share his gospel. We hear his voice clearer in the day. We are more intimate with our Father. And yes, sometimes we don't feel this delight in the small days, but ultimately we know that with this continual effort, God rejoices with that, and he loves to see that continual effort from us. Thank you.